Hi Siddharth, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Do you have any doubts we can discuss?
No, sir.
Huh? We'll start class then once everybody comes. A few more people.
Okay.
Hi guys, good morning. Hi Shri Arni. If you have any doubts, please ask, okay?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. And hi guys.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, like 5 of us, huh? All right. So remember what we were doing last class?
Yes, sir.
Guys?
Functions, sir.
Functions.
Functions. All right. So we did relations last class, and then after that we entered functions. What's a function? What is a function?
It's a special case of relation.
The special case of relation where, like, what is the difference? Like, is it a special case?
Every pre-image has a unique image.
Every pre-image has an image. Okay, that's one point. Has a unique image. Okay. Right. Every pre-image will have exactly one image that way. And what is codomain?
Set of all y.
Set of all y values will be range, no?
Superset of range. Superset of range.
Superset of range. Yeah, that's a nice way to think about it. Yes, yes, yes. Superset of range. Okay. Like any superset of range can be a codomain. As long as the entire range is there in the set, that's it. You have your codomain. You can add anything you want to it. All right. You have your codomain there. And another way to look at it is whenever a function is defined, f from A to B, B is the codomain. That is by default. Okay. The range has to be inside B. That's the idea. Got it? Right. So to check for function, let's take y equal to x square. Is this a function?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why? Like, okay, sorry. First, I have to define the function from where to where. From R to R. I'm going to define. Okay. Now, tell me, is this f a function? So f in the sense
No,
f of
sir.
x is equal to x square. Why is this not a function?
Because the range cannot be full or completely real
That's what I'm
number.
saying, no? So whenever I say f is from A to B, B is the codomain. Okay. So here f is from R to R. This R will be what? Not necessarily it's the range.
Codomain.
It's just the codomain. All right. So you have to understand that nothing about the range is said here. You have to find it out separately. Okay, got it? Like you can draw a graph and check where all y values will be projected. Okay, you can see that y values are all greater than equal to 0. So here I can say range of f. No, this will be very confusing because I'm writing R everywhere. Range of f. What will that be?
R
Will be
plus.
0 to infinity. No. Here codomain is R. Domain is R. All right.
R plus I told.
Okay. I didn't hear that. So range will be R plus one more value is there, 0. Don't forget. Okay. R plus means all positive real values. R minus means all negative real values. Include 0 also into it. You have the range of x square. All right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
My next question to you is, so here let's verify a definition of function with this. Okay, that was the point. So what is the definition of function? Every point in the domain should have an image, right? That's the idea. So domain, is the x-axis here. The entire x-axis is R. Domain is R. All right. So for each point here, there should be a corresponding x square on this side. Got it? All right. So is that satisfied? Is condition 1 for functions satisfied? Condition 1 is all elements are A are associated to elements in B, not all elements in B. Okay, all elements only in A we're talking about. Okay. Is that satisfied, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the second condition here? Each element is associated to a unique element in B. Is that happening? Yes, because every element there is one x square that is there on the y-axis. Okay, that can be corresponded to. That it can be corresponded to. Got it? Guys, are you following? Can I get some responses?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Siddharth. What about the rest?
Yes, sir. Following.
Got it, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Rahul, what's up? Are you following? Rahul, I need a response from your end. I'm not able to hear anything. Because if there's some audio problem, please write in the chat. Rahul, are you sleeping? Okay. Now, every element on the x-axis, we were discussing every element on the x-axis has a corresponding element on the y-axis. Every element on the domain of this function. Instead of x-axis, let's leave that. Every element in the domain has a unique image. Okay. How do you find the image? We take it here and then correspond it to the y-axis. And that's how we plot each point here. Okay. Once we do that, we have a curve like this. All right. So you can see that the range is like this. And this is clearly a function. So another way to look at this. Okay. So let's take a circle here. Center at origin. A horrible looking circle, but this will do. Is this a function? Okay, circle is defined from this point to this point. Okay. Circle is defined from minus r to r. Things like that. Okay. To minus r to r again. Right. So we can see that the range is also restricted. It's fine. Domain is also restricted. So is this a function, guys?
Yes, sir.
What were the conditions? Repeat it with me. What are the conditions? Every element in the domain should have
Unique image.
should have an image existing. Okay. All right. Now, what is the second condition? Each should have a unique this thing. So you take one x1 here. I'll take one point here. I'll call it x1. All right. This is my x1 here. Okay. So what are the this thing values here? You can see that at x1 you get two images. Guys, you have to understand. It's a circle here. All right. If it was just this semicircle part, it would have been a function. It did not cross over, but yeah, it would have been a function. Every element inside this would have a unique element here, only one element. But here, if you take any x2, what happens? They can have two elements, right? Two maps here. It's like the case where you have an element here and a few elements here. And from one element, you map it to more than one. Okay, more than one image occurs for a pre-image. It is that case here. Are you able to correlate?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So is this a function, this circle?
No, sir.
Got it, got it. Are you all following why it's not a function?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so I hope it's pretty easy only. Okay, so this is called the vertical line test. So instead of doing all this, they simply simplify the process. You have any function, any fancy looking function given to you. Okay. Or anything that you want to check, is it a function or not? What do? You take one vertical line. Why vertical line? Because at a vertical line, there is only one value of x. Okay. And multiple values of y. You're checking how many points does it intersect. It intersects at how many points? 1 point here. Let's move the vertical point ahead. Okay. Then how many points does it intersect at? 1 point. What does it mean? At that value of x, it has one image. Okay, think like that. Right. And then move ahead, move ahead, move ahead. Bring it till here. And then once we move ahead, what happens here? There are
2.
2 points of intersection. Okay, guys. Guys, you can talk with me. It's fine. You're not interrupting. There will be 2 points of intersection. Okay. And this goes on. There are 2 points of intersection. What happens the second there is more than 1 point of intersection?
It stops being a function.
It stops being a function. It's not a function anymore. Like if I say this value is x4, what is f of x4? Is it this value a or this value b? What is it? We can't be sure. It has to be definite. It is exactly one value. Okay. So this is called a vertical line test. Did you guys get this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, all right. Okay, the first one, you can see the figure, right? All of you? Is it visible? The figures?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you have any problem viewing it, please tell me. I'll magnify it or whatever. So there's a magnifying function here. Okay, yeah. So A is -1 and 2. B is -1, 2, and 8. You can see this mapping here. The first one, is it a function?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Second one,
sir.
is it a function?
No, sir.
Why?
Because every element in domain must be mapped.
Exactly. 3 and 5 are feeling left out. Okay, every element should have an image. What you said is absolutely right. Okay. Now, the third one, is that a function?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there is a no and 2 yeses. Why do you say no?
So because 2 elements have the same image on.
So when you see 2 elements pointing to the same thing, you have to imagine something like this. You have 2 elements which point to the same value. Basically, a function can go like this and all, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea here. Okay. When you say one element points to more than 2 values, so the idea is there will be some curving around like this. Okay. It comes around. Basically, at that point, there are 2 values. Not possible. Not a function in this case. In this case, though, it is a function. Okay. I hope that is clear.
Yes,
What about this one? Is this a
Not a
function?
function, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Okay. What about the next one?
Function.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Other than Siddharth and CRD, how many other people are there? And Aditi also. Aditi is also responding. Who else is there? Harish, how are you? Why do you not talk?
Yes, sir. So I'm listening, sir.
But contribute, okay? Please contribute. Then only the session will be productive. Otherwise, I'll just
Sure,
be
sure,
rambling. You're just watching a movie and this gets over. You have to ask doubts. We'll clear it out on the way. And that's how both of us learn. Okay. Now,
Okay, sir.
so, all right, definition, useless. Okay. So look at this example. F is equal to 1, comma 2, comma 3 to this set. So this is A, this is B. Such that f of x equal to 2x plus 1. Is this a function in this case? Can this function be defined here? Are you able to view the scheme, right?
It is a function set.
Just check each element separately. F of 1, F of 2, F of 3. Okay, 2x plus 1 means this is 7, this is 5, and this is 3. Just check if 3, 5, and 7 are there inside this. Okay, that's all you need to check. Do you understand the process here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that'll be your answer. Guys, any doubts here? Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay,
No
so what is the
doubts, sir.
codomain? Guys, what is the codomain?
Superset of range.
It's the set B. 3, 6, 5, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. That is the codomain. What is the range?
3, 5, 7.
3, 5, 7. Okay. Right, I hope all of you got this. Let's move ahead and go to real function. Okay, so these are some definitions, okay? We're just learning for namesake. Real function means both domain and codomain are subsets of R. Easy, okay? You know what makes a function. Now we'll learn the different types of functions, okay? Codomain and domain are subsets of R. All right, that's all you're looking for. Now, what is a constant function?
All of them equal the same value.
Equal to the same value. Okay, so you say
Constant.
f of x equal to c, where c is the constant. All right. So when you have a graph like this, the constant function will move like this. All right, where this is the value of c. This is y equal to c line. All right. So that's the idea. Y equal to f of x means y equal to c. Same thing. All right. This is a function in terms of x. So as the value of x moves, you still get the same value c. It's independent of x. Think like that. All right. So what is the domain here? Come on, guys, quickly. What's the domain here?
X.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I think all the x values.
All the x values. Correct. So what is the value of the domain here? In our context, for constant function, what will be the domain? Exactly. The domain of f will be set of all real numbers, R. Okay. What about the range of f?
Okay.
The
Real
constant
The constant.
itself.
Constant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Set with the constant. Only one element will be there. Okay. Now, in your mind, just do the vertical line test. Okay, you can just imagine a vertical line just scanning through the whole function. Okay, that's what I want you to imagine. Okay. Now, identity function. What is that? What is the identity function? What's the identity function, guys?
So for every value of x, range will be equal to the value of x itself.
Okay.
It returns
So
the same value.
exactly, as simple as that. All right. So you have a function which is a machine. Whatever input you give, right, x, will be the same output you get, x. That's what the function does. It just gives you what it gets, what it takes. All right. So that's why it's defined like this. F of x is equal to x. X is the input and x is the output. Okay, did you get this? So you'll be plotting what line? The y equal to x line. Right. So here again, come on. What is the range? What is the domain?
Real numbers, all real numbers.
All real numbers and all real numbers here also. Okay. So how to find the domain is you take the graph and you draw back the projection on the x-axis. You can see that it projects everywhere continuously on the x-axis. What about this thing range? Again, from those same points, draw projection to the y-axis. You can see that by drawing the projection, this entire thing becomes blue. So range is also R. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is polynomial function? Polynomial function.
So,
Definition is there on the screen also. I'll make it any easier. What is it?
of a degree 2, sir.
A polynomial function of degree 2 is a quadratic polynomial function. Okay. So degree can be n, which is any whole number. Okay. Even what does that mean? Degree can be 0 also. What happens when degree is 0, guys?
The function
Not
becomes
a
a
polynomial function.
No, it is a polynomial function. I'm telling you, it is a polynomial function. What happens when the degree is 0 though? When degree is
does it
0,
become a constant function?
exactly. Good. Good. All right. When degree is 0, the maximum power of x will be 0. So the only term will be a0. So f of x will be a0. A0 is a constant. It's given here. A1, A2, A3, all of them are real number. Okay. So when n is equal to 0, you have, okay, a into x raised to 0. Think of it like that. Don't put a0 and all, you confuse. Okay, f of x equal to a is a constant function when the degree is 0. When the degree is 1, f of x equal to ax plus b form. All right. When the degree is 2, ax square plus bx plus c form. So here it's a linear. X square plus bx plus c is the quadratic form and so on. Okay. I hope this is clear. We don't need much more explanation for this, I guess. Next comes rational function. All right. So it's given that g of x and h of x are polynomial functions. All right. It's given that g of x and h of x are polynomial functions. The rational function f of x will be nothing but two polynomial functions divided by each other. Okay. The rational function f of x will be two polynomial functions divided by each other. Okay. And that gives you, what is g of x here? It's just a polynomial function. H of x is a polynomial function. So, what is the domain? Polynomial functions will have domain R. Range depends. Range you will have to find out separately for each polynomial. Okay, depends on the graph. Now, domain will be R. What can you say about the range? Like, they give an example here. Let's take f of x equal to 1 by x. What is that? Numerator is constant function. Denominator is linear function or identity function. Here the domain is R. I'm just using this example here. The domain is R. What about the range?
R minus 0.
Exactly. R minus 0. Is the domain R? You have to
No,
be
sir.
sure that the denominator should not be 0. So this h of x in the denominator, right? You have to always make sure that does not vanish. Okay. That is your task, actually. You get it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
This should not vanish. The denominator should not vanish. Be careful. We've done problems based on that also for domain. Okay. Next comes modulus function. Modulus and all I've taught you, right? What it is? It looks like this. What is the domain? What is the range? Quickly.
Real numbers.
Is it of all real numbers? Ranges?
Positive.
Positive.
0 to infinity.
Okay. R plus 0. Again. 0 to infinity is absolutely right. Same thing. Okay. The types of relations, which I don't think is required right now. You know what an empty relation is, universal relation is, and identity relation. Identity relation means everything like A comma A will always be there. All right. Universal relation is every element in set A is related to every element in set B. Okay. Now, look at domain first. Yeah. We have to do some types of functions though before we do any question. Find the domain of root x and all we've done. Find the domain of 2x minus x square. F of x equal to 2x minus x square. Find the domain. Come on, guys. F of x equal to 2x minus x square. What is the domain? Please find it out quickly. I'm giving you 20 seconds. First, look at the question. Understand that they're asking for the domain. Domain is the set of all permissible inputs. And use these facts to get to the answer.
Sir, is it 1?
Domain is 1, huh?
Can I include 0 also?
Yeah, you can.
0 and 1.
It's inside the root, no? You can involve 0. Okay, 20 seconds is done. It's already been a minute. Okay. So the idea is 2x minus x square is inside the root, right?
Sir, it is 0 to 2.
That's what we'll find out. This should be greater than or equal to 0, which means that x into 2 minus x should be greater than or equal to 0. In other words, x into x minus 2. I'm going to multiply both sides by minus 1, which means the sign flips. Should be less than or equal to 0. Which means this graph has two roots, 0 and 2. I wrote it as x into x minus a form, which makes it an upward parabola. Like x square will have 1 as a coefficient. So here, where is it less than or equal to 0? Between 0 and 2? Got it? So, what will the answer be?
0 to 2.
Okay, that's it. Any doubts here, guys? Please ask.
No, sir.
Okay, I'm slightly increasing the base. All right. Next, find the domain of root x by root x. Hey, this is a very nice question. All right. Root x by root x. What do you do here? Root x by root x.
So is it all positive numbers?
Find the domain. All positive numbers. Yes. That's right. Good. Okay. So, what generally people do is when I say root x by root x, they'll cancel it out. And then write it as f of x equal to 1 is the actual function. This is the confusion I was expecting. All right. Okay. So, f of x equal to 1 becomes the actual function. And then what do? This is a constant function. What is the domain? Domain is R. But this will turn out to be wrong. Why? We cancelled out root x by root x. Okay. So first thing we have to understand that when we cancel things out, we are assuming that root x is not equal to 0. We can't divide by 0, right? The idea of cancellation is nothing but division. Okay. So when we can't divide by 0, hey, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So root x cannot be 0 here. Next, you see root x. The idea of root x existing itself is possible only when x is greater than or equal to 0. Combining both of them together, you get x greater than 0 as your answer. Okay. All right. So that's why you get your answer as this from 0 to infinity. Got it?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So x greater than 0, you get 0 to infinity. All right. Next. Do you know what signum function is? Signum function. Do you know what signum function is? Have you been taught this before?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? What is signum function, guys? What is signum function?
Don't know, sir.
Hmm? Okay.
Sir, it
So,
has three values of range.
exactly. The range has three values, 1, 0, and -1. Okay. So this signum function, all right, you'll see it as commonly SGN of x. Okay, signum. Hmm. Whatever input you give, basically it can take any real valued input. Hmm. If the input is positive, like greater than 0, you get 1. Hmm. If the input is 0 itself, you get 0. If the input is negative, you get -1. So the function is defined like this. Signum function is defined as 1 when x is greater than 0, 0 when x is equal to 0, -1 when x is less than 0. Guys, can you make a graph for this? Quickly construct a graph for this on your book. What does it look like? What does the graph look like? What does the graph look like?
Line parallel to x-axis in the first quadrant, and then line parallel to x-axis in the third quadrant, with 1 and -1 being not included.
With 1 and -1 not included.
Yes, sir.
This one and -1.
No.
Then
The thing on the y-axis, the
the
-1
y-axis.
and 1 on
No,
the.
1 and -1 will be included because that is the line, right? Whenever I put a positive value for x, as in whenever I put one of these values for x, I will get +1 always. That's the idea of this. Okay. Hmm. Whenever I put 0 value, I will get. Okay. I understood what you're trying to say. Hmm. You're saying that this will be open and this will be open on the y-axis. Correct. And this will be closed. This point is included. Hmm. At the point
Yes, sir.
x equals 0, this is the only point that's invoked. Okay. The point is absolutely right. Okay. So here onwards, it will be 1. Here onwards, it will be -1. Did you get this idea, guys? This is the signum function graph. Okay. So this is a constant function. This is y equal to 1 when x greater than 0. This is y equal to -1 when x is less than 0. Y equal to 0 when x equal to 0. So that's just one point. All right. Is this okay, guys? Let me see if you have any questions or. Okay. Go ahead then. Okay. Next comes the exponential function. What does that look like? Exponential function. What happens, guys? Here. Okay, can you
No,
define
no,
the
sir.
function? This is equal to a power x. This is an exponential function, but a has to strictly be greater than 0. Okay, that's the condition here. A has to be strictly greater than 0, and y is equal to a power x will be graph of exponential function. Like for example, y is equal to e power x. Is there? All right. E power minus infinity is 0. E power 0 is 1. E power 1 is e. And then so on. You can see the exponential function increase like this. All right. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay. What about y equal to 1 by e power x? What do you do here? What is the value of e, guys? E?
2.303.
No. That's different. That's different. Yeah, I did this in physics or chemistry or something long back. Wait, 2.303 comes when you change the base of the log, I guess, from 10 to e.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So outside, I don't remember what formula I used it in, but yeah, I remember this 2.303 very distinctly for some reason. Right. So E is 2.718. Okay. Right. So not 718 sharp. It's an irrational number. It just goes on, but roughly 2.718. And it's very important number for calculus. Okay. That number just teaches you how to deal with changes in calculus. And you can get the value of E with this simple formula. 1 by 1 factorial, sorry, 1 plus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial plus 1 by 3 factorial all the way up till infinity. It's the sum of this infinite series. That is E. Okay. Now, yeah, anyway, let's to get 1 by e power x. How can I write that? I can write that as e power minus x. Right?
Yes, sir.
I cannot write that as e power minus x. Okay. So what happens here is I am just flipping this graph here this way. Following? Wherever there is x, instead of that there is minus x. But the value of y will be the same there. So when x was equal to 1, I got e here. Right? When will I get e here? When x is equal to minus 1. Are you following? So when x is equal to minus 1, I will get this value of e. Okay, understood? Guys, are you following why the graph flips? When you replace x
Yes,
with
sir.
minus x, the graph just turns around. Simply think like that. Okay, x becomes minus x. That's the idea. Okay. So when you replace x with minus x throughout the function, you're just flipping the graph over like this. Okay. So this is basically representing two cases. This is y equal to a power x, the white one actually. Okay. This is y equal to a power x when a is greater than 1. That's the condition here. Okay. This is y equal to a power x when a is between 0 and 1. Alright, guys, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any doubts here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is why you get two graphs for exponential function. There are two cases. One is when the base a is what? Greater than 1, it behaves one way. When it's between 0 and 1, it behaves the other way. Okay. Now, this should be a decent explanation. If you remember log x graph, right? It had two graphs. Same way. When the base was greater than 1, and the second case was when the base was between 0 and 1. Are you guys following?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay, when the
sir.
base is between 0 and 1, and then when the base is greater than 1. So similarly, you should be able to draw similarities. Okay. I'll say something. I'm just hoping that you guys will understand. You guys know what inverse of a function is? Inverse of a function? Hmm? Okay, you know how to draw the graph of an inverse? Like suppose a function is given to you like this. How do you draw the graph of its inverse? What you draw is, okay, this is the graph of e power x actually. Wait, I'll draw a graph of e power x really first. Y equal to e power x is the graph I've drawn. The inverse is, how you find the inverse is basically you write x in terms of y and replace the function in terms of x completely. What did I even say? I said it very fast. How do I write x in terms of y? I take log on both sides. Okay. Then what will I get? I'll get x equal to log y. Am I right? Am I going too fast, guys? Am I going too fast?
No, sir.
I have a tendency to. So please stop me when I do get fast. All right. So x is equal to log y will be the form of the inverse. So the inverse function will be y equal to log x. I simply change x and y. That's all. All right. I write x in terms of y first and simply interchange x and y. Y equal to log x will be the inverse of y equal to e power x. Log to the base e. Okay. Are you following, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So y equal to log x. How was the graph? Y equal to log x. It was going like this, right? This is the point 0, 1. This is the point 1, 0. Right. Now, what are these graphs? How are these graphs related? How are these graphs related, guys? For that, you need to imagine the y equal to x line. Okay. We change, remember the step, okay? In the last step, we simply changed y and x, right? Okay, that's where this comes from. When you draw y equal to x line, whatever graph you have, if you want to draw its inverse, just take the mirror. Just make y equal to x the mirror and then draw it on the other side. You have the inverse of the function. Are you following? We'll do inverse separately, but did you get this part?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You draw y equal to x line and then you draw its mirror image. You have its inverse. Guys, did you know this before?
No, sir.
Anybody who knew this before?
I did, sir. I did.
Okay. Good. Good thing. Then respond, okay. All right. Then speak more. Like I already know that it is a reflection. Yeah, because then both of us will be teaching the rest of the group. That's the idea. Yeah. So you can see 0, 1 becoming 1, 0. That is also one idea of mirroring. You can think of it like that. All right. So, but we were not discussing mirroring, we were discussing signum function. Whenever you input a positive value, you get +1. Whenever you input 0, you get 0. Whenever you input a negative value, you get -1. That is a signum function. Okay. Now, exponential graph is done. Logarithmic function we covered. Okay, we did like 2 classes for this. Then this and all we won't be doing. Find the domain of ln of x. What do we do? X greater than 0. We already did this part. Ln means log x to the base e. Okay, ln. I call it ln, but it's actually natural log. I told you, right? E is a very important number. It starts from here, right? Call the natural log, log to the base e. Right, so that is about log. Then greatest integer function or step function. It's a beautiful function. Guys, you know what greatest integer function is?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is greatest integer function? What is it? What is greatest integer function? Why am I slurring? Yeah, tell me.
It gives the nearest integer greater than the number that you've inputted.
It gives the greatest integer not greater than the number. It'll be infinity, like as in a number close to infinity, integer close to infinity. Get it? If you take a number 5.3, okay, let's take 5.3, and you look at all the numbers after it. You have to explain my simple point once again. Okay. If you take a point 5.3, okay. Let's take a point 3.5, okay. 3.6. Let's look at 3.6. If you take all the digits greater than that, what does that mean? You are simply shading here onwards, okay. And then from the rest of this graph, like the multicolored graph, you will take the largest integer possible. Are you following? From the rest of it, you'll be cutting out the largest integer possible. That is not the definition. We have to look at all the integers that are actually smaller than it. Okay, guys, got it? We look at all the integers less than 3.6. Okay, from them, we pick 0 is there, 1, 2, 3. 4 is greater than 3.6, we won't go there. So what do we pick, guys? What do we pick?
3.
We pick 3. We pick the greatest one amongst those lesser than it. When I say greatest integer function, look at it as an upper limit you are putting. Okay. So upper limit should be there where. So if I say it is the smallest number lesser than this, you are talking about minus infinity. If I say it's the largest number greater than this, you are talking about plus infinity. All right. I hope these actions are helping. All right. Now, so when you're taking this number smaller than that, you take the greatest integer amongst them. Okay. And that will be the greatest integer function. Do you know what the graph of GIF function looks like?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here we'll mark out the points 0, 1. Okay. Once we mark out the points, all right. So what is the GIF of 0.1? What will it be?
0.
So in your mind, when I say GIF of point, okay, I'm going to call it GIF from now. Okay. When I say GIF of 0.1, what should go through your mind? In your mind, what should normally strike is the set of all integers lesser than 0.1. So in your mind, immediately 0, -1, and so on should go. Of that, which is the greatest one? 0. Okay.
0.
So we start descending from there and find the next integer. That's the idea. So here 3.6 I got 3 as my answer because from all this 3 is the biggest. So similarly for 0.1 I'll get 0 as the answer. So I have to mark 0 here for 0.1. Okay. For 0.2 it's 0.
0.
0, sir.
0.5 basically everything till 0.5 it will be 0. 0.6 what happens at 0.6?
It's still 0.
0.
It's still 0. Good. At 0.9?
0.
0.
Okay. Suppose I say 0.999999. I say 0.999999 continuously for 3 years. Okay. I say continuously for 3 years and then I stop. What is the GIF of that?
0.
0.
Still 0. Okay. Now suppose what is the next part? Suppose I reach 1. What is the GIF of that?
1.
1.
Exactly. So 1 is not included. And then here we'll take the value 1 here. What about 1.1?
1.
1.
1.5? 1. You can imagine everything
One.
up till 1.5 will also be 1. So that's why I'm drawing a line here. 1.999 for 3 years.
1,
1.
1. At 2,
2,
Not included.
2.
at 2 exactly. You're going to the next point, 2. Okay. So similarly, 2.2 will be 2, 2.3 will be 2, 2.999999 for 3 years will be 2. Okay. And then we move on to 3. So you can see the function grow like this. Okay. And you can also see why this is called step function. Is that clear? You can also see why this is called a step function.
yes,
Is this lucid enough?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, what about minus 0.1? If of minus 0.1.
minus 1, minus 1.
Minus 1. Guys, I was expecting you to get confused with 0, but since I explained so well. All right. I hope all of you are getting this, okay? All of you are getting minus 1 only, right? If you're having the slightest of doubt, please ask. Why can't it be 0? Things like that. Okay, I'll explain anyway. Minus 0.1. So what did I tell you to remember? Think of all the integers lesser than minus 0.1. Okay, so you won't go to 0. 0 is greater than minus 0.1. Alright, so the lesser one is minus 1. So that is what you will be taking here. At minus 0.1, it will be minus 1. Okay, so this is not included. This goes like this. You understand? There is symmetry here. Okay, the graph just continues like this only. But you should know why it continues like this. That's why we're discussing the different cases. All right. So this is about GIF function. So these are some properties. Just note them down. I'll tell you which are the important ones. Okay. Note them down fast, quickly. Guys, do you get the videos with you of the class?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's on the app.
Okay. Do you watch the videos? Are they helpful?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, clearly half of you don't watch it, but those who watch it, guys, please give feedback. All right, what do you think should improve? What do you think is missing? What do you think could be helpful for you? Please give some feedback, okay? Right. Now, the first property says that you take any value x, it is between both the integers it's congested. As simple as that, okay? GIF of x always gives an integer, greatest integral function, greatest integer function. Whatever you get outside will always be an integer. So GIF of x, can you tell me what's the domain, what's the range? What's the domain? What's the range?
Real
So domain is all real numbers.
Domain is all real numbers, absolutely. And what's the range?
Range is integers.
Integers, lovely. Okay, set of all integers. That's the answer. Correct. Nothing else will come. Now, for log, what's the domain? What's the range?
All positive real numbers.
Domain is all positive real numbers, absolutely. And range will be
All real numbers.
all real numbers. Okay. Exponential function. So wait. So just notice this, okay? For log, domain is set of all positive real numbers, and the range is set of all real numbers. What about the exponential function? The graph is on top. The white one is the exponential function graph. White and orange one in the first graph case, and white one alone in the second graph case. Okay. So what's the domain? What's the range? Exponential function. Domain is
all real numbers.
all real numbers. Range is
Positive real numbers.
yeah. Exponential function can't give a negative value. Okay. So clearly it will be a positive value. Right. So And look at the graph only. Does it go below the y-axis? Sorry, below the x-axis? No, right? So basically, y cannot become negative. Right. Just notice how the domain and the range interchange for these inverse functions. This is an important property for inverse functions. Okay, I will get there, but then I just wanted you to notice it. Okay, got this? This one's domain is this one's range. This one's range is this one's domain. As simple as that. Okay. Guys, any doubts here?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
Go ahead. Now, if I say any GIF of x, like suppose you have the value x equal to 2.3. This first one is saying that 2.3 is between 2 and 3. Okay. Right, 2.3 between 2 and 3. Here there is a less than equal to 2 sign, because if this 2.3 was an integer first itself, suppose it was 2, you know it's less than 3. So then you put GIF of x and it's the same value. So to compensate for the equal to sign, that's why it's lesser than or equal to over here. Okay, property 1. Now, property 2 says that, let's take 2.3 and take GIF of it. That'll be what? 2. Okay. GIF of 2.3 is between what? 2.3 itself and 2.3 minus 1, which is 1.3. Okay. So 2 is between 2.3 itself and 1.3. Are you following? Yes, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Are you feeling sleepy?
No,
No, sir.
No, sir.
If you're feeling a little sleepy, please quickly grab some water. Get something to eat a little bit. And then come back. If you want a minute break or something, take it, okay? You don't even need to ask me. You're at home, you're at the liberty to take it. All right. But make sure you come back, and whatever break you do is so that you focus better. The intention should be clear. Okay, why you take the break. Now, next is x plus m is x plus m. So this is a very nice thing. So if I say x plus 4, I can write this as 4 plus GIF of x, whatever the value of x is. Okay, that's the idea. If I have an integer here, I can write the integer outside. Okay. Now, if x is greater than or equal to n, then definitely x will be greater than or equal to n, because GIF of x is already less than or equal to x itself. Okay. So it's just one step lower. So this, okay. These are useless, except property 7. Let's go to property 7. Property 7 is the x plus GIF of minus x equal to what? So we'll find that out now. Okay. GIF of x plus GIF of minus x. Okay. Suggest a value for x, no, guys, please.
3.6.
3.6. Hey, originality, guys. Come on. I just gave 3.6 as over here. Okay, anyway, 3.6 is that. Plus minus 3.6. What will this answer be? What is 3.6? Kajif. What is it? 3. What is minus 3.6? Minus?
Minus 4.
Minus 4. Okay. So when it's negative, be a little careful. It's not simply you remove whatever is after the decimal. No. You go to the logic. You go to the integers lesser than minus 3.6. The first one is minus 4. As simple as that. Okay. So this will come out to be minus 1. Now, if I took 3 as x, what happens here? What is GIF of 3?
3.
What is GIF of minus 3?
Minus 3.
Minus?
3.
3 itself, okay, it is an integer. It will return the same integer. Okay, it has to return the biggest integer less than or equal to that number. This is equal to that number. We took that. This is equal to 0. What can you conclude from here, guys? With these two examples, what can you conclude? There are two examples given here. What can you conclude from these two examples? Come on.
Sir, if x is an integer, then it returns 0.
Correct. Correct. That's the only case where you will get 0. If it's given to you ever that g of x plus g of minus x equal to 0, it only means one thing. X is an integer. Why am I writing on this? X is an integer. Okay. If it's otherwise, what will happen? If x is not an integer, it will be equal to -1 in all the cases. Okay. Right. So if it's given that g of x plus g of minus x is equal to -1, then you know for sure that the x you have is not an integer. Got it? You guys get this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move ahead. Find the domain of 1 by g of x. Come on, guys, find the domain. Many seconds are done. Quickly, guys, find the domain. This shouldn't take much time considering the answer is already there.
Sir, all real
Minus-
numbers
All real numbers?
except 0. Except
Okay.
0.
0 to 0.9.
Guys, I love when you guys respond because your responses are honest. Okay. You are not looking at the screen while telling it. Like I actually I put the bait here. The question is there on the screen, the solution is there on the screen. But I'm very happy you guys are not doing it, falling for it. Okay. If you're acting, great actors you are, but I am actually happy that you guys are not directly trying to solve it, just looking at it. So the idea is it's 1 by something. Okay. 1 by something. So that something should not be equal to 0. Okay. That's the idea. This something should not be equal to 0. So what does that say about so that something is g of x. What does that say about x now? What are the values it cannot be? For sure, x cannot be 0 because g of 0 is 0. What about g of 0.1?
No,
If I put x as 0.1,
Still,
it will still be 0, right?
0.
What about 0.2? 0.99999? Remember all that? So from 0 to 1, right? X shouldn't take any value because remember the graph again. From 0 to 1, what will happen? All of this will be 0. Are you getting it? I'm sorry about the taste in
yes, sir.
colors. Okay, just a mess right now. But yeah, I hope you're getting the point. Okay, from 0 to 1, you get only 0 as g of x. So x cannot take these values. Okay. So your answer will be r minus 0, 1, as you can see here too. All right? Got this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me see if you have more fun problems with this. Okay, we have time for fractional part function. We'll try to do fractional part function. Okay, how many of you don't know what fractional part function is? How many of you haven't heard of fractional part function? Let's start from there.
Me, sir.
I haven't, sir. Me too.
I don't know,
Heard?
sir.
Okay. It's not there in your NCERT book, I think, but it is an important function. Okay. So listen carefully. So now we are going to learn fractional part function. We'll do problems on integral part function. Okay. But we have time for theory right now. We'll get the content inside your head and then we'll discuss it again next class. Right? So fractional part function, what does it tell us? Fractional part function is represented by curly brackets in x. Okay. Integral part function was square brackets on top of x. Okay. So here, fractional part function. Now, how do you define fractional part function? It's x minus bit. Just told you something and I'm writing something else. X minus GIF of x. Okay. All right. X minus GIF of x. What is GIF of x? It's the integer just lesser than or equal to x. Got it? It is the first integer less than or equal to x. So when I say x minus GIF of x, what am I talking about? Will the value be negative? Tell me that first. Is it tough and confusing? We start again.
The value will be positive.
Just know that, yeah, exactly, it will always be positive because GIF of x is always less than or equal to x. Got that part, right? It's the greatest integer lesser than or equal to x. So GIF of x will always be less than or equal to x. So x minus GIF of x will always be positive because I know that GIF of x will be less than or equal to x. Okay. Not necessarily positive, it can be 0 also. Okay. So this is the first thing you learn about GIF of x. Will always be between 0 and 1. Okay. The first thing you'll be learning about fractional part of x. Did I say GIF of x? What I meant was fractional part of x. Okay. So fractional part of x is between 0 and 1. Did you guys get this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So does it mean that the range is always between 0 and 1?
Does it mean that the range is between 0 and 1? Yes, correct. That's exactly what it means. And the range of this fractional part function is 0, 1. So whatever value you input, you will get a value between 0 and 1. And how would you define that value between 0 and 1? By x minus GIF of x. Okay. Let's take fractional part function of 0.3. What do we get here? 0.3 minus what?
0.
0.3 minus its GIF value. Okay. Which will come out to be 0.3 minus 0, which is 0.3 over elaboration. Okay. What about 1.3? 1.33. Let's go. Something different. 1.33 will be what?
0.33.
Correct. It will be 1.33, which is x minus GIF of 1.33. And GIF of 1.33 is nothing but 1. Okay. And then it comes out to be 0.33. Guys, can you tell me what is the fractional part of 6.14?
0.1.
0.1. What is the fractional part of 7.99999?
0.99.
0.99999. Correct. All right. Now, let's take an integer. 7. Sorry. Fractional part of 7. What will that be?
0.
0.
You are good. Fractional part of 7 will be 0. Fractional part of 1?
0.
0.
Fractional part of 2?
0.
Fractional part of 6?
0.
0.
Basically, the idea is fractional part of any integer 0. Okay. No integer has a fractional part. Think like that. Okay. All right. The rest,
Okay.
if it's a non-integer, then it will have a positive fractional part. Okay. Just think like that. Right. Now, let's take a negative number. All right. And you know how to find the positive fractional part. Just subtract it from the nearest integer. Okay. Lesser than it. Now, let's take minus 0.5. What do you get?
0.5.
0.5. Minus 0.6.
0.6.
0.6.
0.6. Okay. So 0.6 is the mistake I wanted you guys to make. Okay. Because we are not being careful enough. Even here also, minus 0.5. It's correct, but we weren't careful enough. What is the definition of fractional part of x? X minus GIF of x. Okay. All right. So what happens here? X is minus 0.6. Minus, what is GIF of minus 0.6?
Minus 1.
Minus 1.
Minus 1.
Minus 1. So minus of minus 1 becomes plus 1. Minus 0.6 plus 1 becomes
0.4.
4. Okay. Let's try again. Minus 9.8. What happens here? Try. Minus 9.8.
0.2.
0.2.
Exactly. Okay. I'll draw a graph here. Let's see. So you're right, guys. This is 0.2. Absolutely. Well done. Okay. Now we're getting a flow of what is happening with fractional part function. Now let's look at the graph. Okay. So just understand that the range of the fractional part function is all real numbers, and the domain of the fractional part function is all real numbers, and the range of the fractional part function is between 0 and 1. 1 is not included. Okay. Now, how does the graph go? For any value between 0 and 1, okay, when x is between 0 and 1, okay, what happens? Fractional part of x is equal to x minus GIF of x, and GIF of x between 0 and 1 will be what? 0. This will be directly equal to x. Fractional part of x is equal to x between 0 and 1. So this is the easiest way to draw this. Okay. But remember, 1 is not included. 0, it works here. And at all integral values, you will get the value 0. Okay, for fraction part function. And this is how the graph will continue. Like 1.1, you will get 0.1. 1.5, you will get 0.5. Just like 0.5 give. Just like 2.5 will give. Just like 3.5 will give. Understood? Guys, are you following this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, it goes the same way here. Okay. But the point is here it's 0.1. Here it is minus 0.1. Okay. Suppose we are, okay, we'll just zoom into this part. We'll act like we're zooming into this part. Okay, this is minus 1. This is 1. So you can see, imagine this is 0.2. What will the value here be? 0.2 only, right? On the y-axis. Okay, because the GIF of, the fractional part of 0.2 is 0.2 itself. So this is the same. This is the input. This is the output. This is the input. This is the output. Okay. But if I go minus 0.2, what is happening? Minus 0.2. I am going here. And where is this place? So graphically, you'll know why you are expecting 0.6 here, but you got 0.4. Okay. All right. So why you are expecting 0.8 here, but you got 0.2. Okay, if I go to minus 9.8, so I'll go to minus 0.8. I'm going here, minus 0.8. It should come to what? The same value, 0.2. Got it? Yeah. So this will be what? Minus 0.8. And here I'll get 0.2 again. Are you following what happened here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You got the graph, right? It's lucid. It's pretty straightforward, really, what is happening. But you need practice on this. Okay. So, yeah, these are find the domain of log functions. Okay, guys, I'll give you homework till here. All right. When do you get the videos? You get it immediately after the class?
Not immediately, sir. Within that day we get.
Okay. Then do one thing. Just take a screenshot. Take screenshots of these questions. Let's start from fractional part function. Begin. Yeah. The solution is also here. Do this question. Do this question. Don't do this. You might get confused at some point. And do this question as well. Okay. All right. It's just based on whatever we did last class, not even this class. Okay. And then you guys come back. We'll solve problems.
Sir, can you show the previous two questions?
Yeah, definitely. Just take screenshot. Take screenshot. Screen. Or you can use Windows Shift S. I think that's the Windows Shift and S if you're using Windows 10.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem. But save it somewhere. Otherwise, it will be there in the clipboard. Just next time you press Control C, it will go off. Okay. So keep that in mind. Hope all of you took the screenshot of this. Take the screenshot of this also. Try to solve the question below it also, actually. So, next class, I see you. I hope you would have solved this with the solutions there. But then, if you have doubts, please come with doubts. Okay. The proof for me that you guys are studying on your own. Math is all about how much time you spend with the topic and nothing else. So keep that in your mind, all right? Let's see if we have any easy problems to solve for. Won't take much time. Okay. And this 3 by 4. 3 by 4 plus 1 by 100. 3 by 4 plus 2 by 100. All the way up till 3 by 4 plus 99 by 100. Find the value.
0, sir.
0. No, it's not 0. It's not 0. I got why you said 0 now. It's not 0. Look at the last term. 3 by 4 plus 99 by 100. 3 by 4 is 0.75. 99 by 100 is 0.99. Total comes out to 1.74. That's your clue. Okay, figure this out.
$74, sir. 74.
24, huh? I think it's wrong. Let me check what answer they've given. Yeah, it's wrong only. But not wrong by much. All right. Figure out why. Don't tell me the right answer right now. Figure out why. Because I've given you the biggest clue possible. The rest of you, come on. 74 is very close to the right answer, okay? But don't tell me the answer yet. The rest of you can try attempting the answer. You understand your mistake? Why 74 is wrong?
Sir, is it 75?
Yes, it is. Okay, so what is happening here? 3 by 4 is what? 0.75. This is what? 0.75 plus 0.01. So basically, this is nothing but 3 by 4 plus n by 100. That is what each term is, where n goes from 0 to 99. Okay, you're trying to find the sum of this. Now, 3 by 4 plus 1 by 100, 2 by 100. If you take the GIF of it, what will you get? You will get 0. Right? Okay. Plus 1 by 100 or 2 by 100, 3 by 100, you get 0. But where does it cross 0? When this value crosses 1, right? So 3 by 4 plus n by 100 should be equal to 1 for our first 1 to appear. Okay. What value of n is that? N is equal to 1 by 100 equal to 1 by 4. So that is equal to 25 by 100. Okay. So n is equal to 25 here. So n is equal to 25 will fetch me 1 here. Okay, that inside this n equal to 25 will fetch me the first one. Next, when I put n equal to 26, what happens? That also becomes 1 only. Okay. When I put n equal to 27, what happens? It's 1 only. So you're adding ones up. Till what? What is this value? We discussed this is 1.74, right? And this one's GIF will be 1 itself. We are adding ones from n equal to 25 to n equal to 99. We are adding, each time we are adding a 1. Are you following? Okay. What are the number of terms here?
75.
Just remember, n equal to 1, n equal to 2. How do you find the number of terms here? N2 minus n1 plus 1. Then only you will get it. Okay, you have 2 terms here. N equal to 2 and n equal to 1. How many terms are there? 2 minus 1 plus 1. Okay, so like this only, 99 minus 25 plus 1. So it's basically saying 100 minus 25. Okay, which comes out to 75. Did you get it? You get the answer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to tweak. Okay, any doubts here? Any doubts here with this answer? Guys, any doubts with this answer?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm going to change the question a little bit. 199 by 100 is there. Okay. 2 by 4 plus 199 by 100. Okay. What is happening here? N is moving from 0 to 199. Right? N is moving from 0 to 199. What happens here? Guys, find the answer. Find the answer. Come on. Tell me the answer.
$174.
No, we'll find out. We'll find out. So this is 1. So it becomes 1 by 4. 2 becomes 2 minus 3 by 4, which becomes 5 by 4. And 3 minus 3 by 4 becomes 9 by 4. N is equal to 25. So it becomes 25 into 5 on 25. 25 into 9 to 25 and so on. Okay. But N is moving from 0 to 199. So 225 does not happen. The GIF cannot take value 3. Okay, that's the idea. If you put a GIF on it, it cannot become 3. It will become as 1 and 2. Now, it becomes 2 at 125. So from 25 to 124, they are all ones you are adding up. From 125 to 199, what are you adding up? 2 point somethings. Okay. When you put a GIF on it, it becomes 2s. Okay. Are you understanding this? How many digits are there from 25 to, how many numbers are there? 25 to 124. There are 100 ones. From 125 to 199, how many digits are there? 199 minus 125 plus 1. 200 minus 125, which is 75. 75 into 2. These are all 2s here. Okay, don't count them as ones. Okay, those who aren't properly paying attention to the first part could have a trouble here, and that is where a silly mistake is expected. Okay, so this becomes 100. This becomes 150. The total becomes 250. Did you get this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Guys, try it on your own. Like, feel the satisfaction of getting it on your own. Then only it'll make sense. Okay. Take a couple of minutes and then try it on your own. Guys, any doubts here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Nothing. All right, then the class is done for today. Thank you, guys. Right, please spend time with the topic. Okay. Otherwise, you're just watching a movie and you'll forget it in like a week maximum. Right. So keep revising constantly. So even if you're watching a movie, if you don't want to forget it, keep watching it constantly. Right. It applies for everything. Like you constantly revise something, your retention will be better. Okay. So please practice as much as possible. Practice varieties. You have enough practice material, I'm sure. Finish that and then think of buying new books. Don't buy everything and overwhelm yourself first itself. Okay, you have enough material to finish. Make sure you finish that first, and then we'll deal with what comes. All right, guys. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
No,
Okay,
No,
I've
sir.
already told you how to study. Please maintain that index page. Okay, and rate yourself constantly. Right now, it looks like nothing. It might even look demotivating, but that's okay. The point is, you want it to grow, you will make it grow with constant practice. Okay. Did you guys get the method I was talking about, how to study?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys following it? It's okay if you're not, but please try to start following it, at least for math. Yeah, that's a request from my end. Would you do that for me?
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Please do that. Okay. Thank you. All right. Take care, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
If you have doubts, please ask me.